not crazy anymore.
My hometown, the cursed land. Part 3, my grandmother, the strange woman. A woman lost her mind for no apparent reason. No cure worked. Then 2 months later, she suddenly came back, walking through dozens of military checkpoints during wartime curfew in the middle of the night, returning home as if nothing had ever happened. Except for one thing. Her long black hair had turned completely white overnight. No one ever figured out what happened, but from that night on, she was never the same again. I come from a small rural village in northern Vietnam, where everyone used to talk about one woman, my grandmother. Back in her youth, she was called the most beautiful girl in the village. She was born into a wealthy family. Her father worked for the old government as a record officer, and they once owned vast plots of land. But then, everything started to fall apart. It was as if a curse had been cast on our bloodline. It all began with my great-grandfather, my grandmother's father. His life was full of strange turns. He fathered nearly a dozen children, all girls. Then he lost everything: land, property, legacy, and eventually even his bloodline. People in the village started whispering, "That land is cursed." But that wasn't the scariest part. Let's go back to my grandmother, the one who went mad. She married young and gave birth to my mother before she was even 16. Then one night, when my mother was 14, everything changed. After a terrifying incident involving a headless general on horseback, which I talked about in part 2, my grandmother lost her mind completely. She stopped recognizing anyone. She wouldn't speak. She wouldn't eat. She either laughed maniacally or sat in silence. The family, helpless, took her to the Trao Quy Psychiatric Hospital in Hanoi, a place for those who had lost all touch with reality. 2 months passed. Then one windless, moonless night, my mother was sleeping when she heard a knock at the gate. Faint but steady, like a metronome ticking in the dark. She opened the gate, and there stood my grandmother, hair white as snow, clothes in tatters, barefoot, eyes clear, but hollow.
I'm not crazy anymore.
Cold, emotionless. The voice didn't sound human, like it had come from somewhere else. Everyone was stunned. How did she manage to walk all the way from Trao Quy to Long Bien on foot, through dozens of heavily guarded military checkpoints during the height of the Vietnam War? A while later, my grandfather came home, and the moment he saw my grandmother, he was genuinely terrified. Not because of her now snow-white hair, but because of something else. Something you'll understand clearly in part 6 of the story. Then she told us, her voice now normal again. That night in the asylum, she was lying down when a person dressed in white walked into the room and asked, "Are you N? Do you want to return to your husband and children?" She said yes. The person never revealed their face, just gave instructions. When I say crawl, crawl. When I say run, run. Don't ask questions. And she obeyed, like in a trance. The road was long. The night was dark. No one stopped her. No one even noticed. It was as if she wasn't human anymore. And when she woke up, my mother was standing right in front of her. From that moment on, she was cured. No more madness. But strange things began to happen. She never told anyone who that person was. No one ever figured out what truly happened on that walk through the night. They only knew one thing: her hair remained white forever. It never turned black again. As for the family tragedy that began with my great-grandfather, the man who lost everything and left behind a bloodline that faded into silence, that's a story for the next part. Click subscribe to follow the story.